Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. That's Joe Smith. Burnley 2, Manchester United 2. Another draw for the Reds. The Darren Fletcher era gets underway with us undefeated, but no wins either. It's a little. We put frustrating, I should say, on the thumbnail, and it is a bit frustrating because we were winning with 20 minutes ago. We were in the lead, weren't we? We'd sort of come back from 1-0 down to get in the lead, and then to draw a game where we had so many chances, we had so many shots. Benjamin Sesko getting a couple of goals. Joe, we'll go back to the beginning of all that and make sure you're getting involved in the chat and the comments and let us know what you think, and don't forget to hit that like button. First of all, actually, just sum up how you feel after that game.
Frustrated, very frustrated. It felt like, I don't want to say more of the same because there were differences. It's not, but the result was more of the same. Another game that we play against a team that is struggling for their life in the Premier League, that has shown very little sign of life over the last 2 months. Gets points against us in, for them, a big result. Obviously, it's not a win for them, which is what they need. But you know, the number of games they've lost and the number of points they've picked up this season, a draw against Man United, a very good result. And I still don't really get why. The formation was different. The style was different. We had a lot of shots. We had a lot of attacks. We dominated the game. We completely dominated the game. But we gave them just enough chances to win the game, or to not to win the game, to drop the points. And again, somehow, as this happened all season, teams have. I mean, today this is a genuinely insane stat. The game is finished 2-2. Burnley had one shot on target today, and they've scored 2 goals from it. Yeah. So you have to say there's a huge element of luck there, but this is just what seems to happen. For some reason, Man United just cannot win games, and if they do, it's sort of in bizarre circumstances. I don't really understand how we haven't won today, is my honest feeling.
Yeah, I completely get where you're coming from, because we had so many chances, and Benjamin Sesko obviously got a couple of goals. It was weird because Benjamin Sesko had so many shots on target. I don't think he had any sitters. I don't think there was anywhere you go, oh, he's absolutely fluffed that one. There was somewhere you think he should have had a better shot. There was one where he went through and he was sort of let it tame one. But it wasn't like he missed many where you go, oh, he should have scored. He had a good game, obviously got 2 goals. Shea Lacey in the bar. I mean, I was almost out of my seat. 1 or 2 other opportunities as well. It was a better performance from Manchester United, but it did feel, in terms of the feeling right now, it's more of the same. It's what we've been having over these last few weeks, going back to the sort of Everton game almost at Old Trafford onwards. We've had these, other than Newcastle, games where you're like, we should have got more out of it. We should have won that. Yeah. On paper, we should have won it. We're playing a team that are almost giving you Wolves vibes of not really winning many games. I think they've lost more than 2/3 of the games this season, or going into that game, they had lost more than 2/3 of the games this season. So they were there for the taking, especially when you're in the lead, and yet we end up leaving with a point, and it's just deflating. Get involved in the chat and the comments and let us know what you think about that, and I'll come back to you, Joe. Delo is nothing but a passenger, says Captain T1. Hogging the 2 shirt, he needs to go, in my opinion. Zachary Purvis says, we're fun to watch again. That's what I was looking for. I stayed awake, but if Lacey scores, my pants would have stayed on because he's a kid. But effing A, fair enough. Mullet says...
That's the sort of thing, like, it's almost guilt by... Why have you brought that up?
Yeah.
I know you're saying you're not doing anything bad.
I'm not a wrong-un.
I didn't kill her. Before you go in the house.
Right? I am not a wrong-un.
I didn't kill her.
Bro, no one thinks you were. We get it.
On you go.
Mullet says, first has Jay left court for his wedding. Xerxes is too lackadaisical. When the league is intense, he's not good enough. Play the young lads. Don Bark says, Amarin needed a 6th place finish, was on track for 6, get sacked. We play Burnley, now we're 7th. We are hilarious, aren't we? I mean, to be fair, you know, we are. You're right. Belmont has been a member of the academy for 28 months. Says first time all season, like we played wingers on their strong side, and Ben benefited from early crosses. Hopefully the new gaffer can use him. Averma 12 says it's just a mentality issue. And you look at Xerxes, really good last game, stank the game today, and this is just the story of our season. I think there's one more as well, which I can't read. Hands up for the Panther. Says positive time, forget James Bond, useless. The name is Motti, J Motti. Title of your spy movie is Team Pure Frustration or Full Dizzy Heights. Let's talk about Benjamin Sesko a bit more, because I think it was half time, I think we said, if anyone needs a goal, it's him. He's lacking a bit of confidence. He's had chances, opportunities during this game and other games as well. You saw it at Elland Road. You saw it against Wolves. He's either taking too many touches or he's just not getting his bearings right. He seemed like a player who was having one. And then you're getting into this stage where 2 goals all season, people are starting to go, Rasmus Højlund, and all the rest of it. But in that second half, he was a bit like a man possessed, wasn't he? He was sort of getting involved in things, and we were giving him better service, proper crosses, and he did well.
He did what he needed to do, didn't he? Which is have loads of shots, and that's what strikers need.
Yep.
We were saying it on the watch along, but the greatest goal scorer that's ever lived, Cristiano Ronaldo, isn't the greatest converter of chances that's ever lived.
No, is he?
He doesn't have the best sort of shots to goals ratio. What he's been so good at is having more shots than anyone else for 20 years.
Yeah.
And that gives you the 970 or whatever goals that he scored in his life. Like, that's how he does it. Top strikers don't score every chance they get. They have more chances than everyone else. And for the first time tonight, and I think a real positive of tonight, Benjamin Sesko looked like a proper Manchester United Premier League striker. He was winning his headers in the air, he was getting on things, the crosses were good, he was getting in front of his man, he was making runs, couple of nice finishes. Well, that second one is a lovely finish, the way he just opens his body up and guides it past the keeper, doesn't try and put too much power on it. It was brilliant. And I know people will talk about putting wingers on the strong side and all that. Dorgu's played on the left enough times this season to have found Benjamin Sesko a few times.
Yeah.
Let's not act like we've not had Patrick Dorgu putting crosses in ever this season.
Yeah.
And it was Bruno with a lovely little chip from that deep area.
That Bruno pass was unreal.
Yeah, there's a few of them from Bruno today. He was excellent when he came back on. But it was really good to see Sesko, like I said, look like a dangerous, aggressive striker that was putting a bit of fear into the defenders he was playing against, and then to get a couple of goals as well is brilliant. I not to just go back to the numbers, we had 30 shots today. That is absolutely loads.
Yeah.
That's like more than most teams will have all season. Yeah. 30 shots, 10 on target.
I think Sesko broke the record for most shots in a Premier League game.
Most shots on target.
Most shots on target in a Premier League game this season, I think, was the stat that came up during the game. And I think he had more after that, to be fair.
Burnley had 7 total, 1 on target. Like, to draw a game that you've had 10 times more shots on target than the opposition, to draw a game that, like I said before, Burnley scored more goals than they had shots on target today. I know that there was lapses, and there was, for their second goal, sort of Martinez and Shaw couldn't decide who was marking.
It did feel like they got mixed up a little bit.
There's a little mix up.
Gary Neville was blaming Martinez, I think.
Yeah.
But I think there was a bit of an element of confusion between him and Shaw, because at one point it looked like Shaw was there, and then the lad shifts it over on his left, and then it's like it's fully Martinez's responsibility, but he's already sort of taken a step away. Yeah. Because I think he thought Shaw was there. So maybe that is teething problems of going back to a flat back four. I don't know.
It's so infuriating, but I just feel like, I would like to say if the stat line reads like that every week, 30 shots to 7, 10 shots on target to 1, United will win a lot more games than they lose. However, we have been in a bizarre run recently of things not quite adding up statistically. Yeah. Under Amorim even, you look at the numbers of the XG for and XG against, we wildly underachieved on that compared to a lot of teams like Aston Villa who were going the other way, where they would won 11 in a row, whatever it was, having pretty even expected goals for and against. So it doesn't always work the way you think it should. And for some reason, right now, it's working against Manchester United. The luck is just falling the other team's way seemingly every time. Yeah. And I'm sure over the years, and at some point that will level itself out and all that, but luck doesn't always level itself out. People like to think that it does because it gets you through hard times, or you think, well, one day it'll go my way. But United have just had shit luck for a while. Yeah. And that was shit luck tonight. We were the better team. We made far more chances, far more shots, far more control of the game than they did, and somehow they've got a point. Yeah, and maybe that's going to cost us a European place. And I think Newcastle are above us now. Yeah, I think they're above us by goal difference, by one goal, I think. So the whole league has sort of squashed and condensed. Chelsea, who were comfortably 5th 2 or 3 weeks ago, are now 8th. Yeah. United 7th. Brentford are above us. Newcastle above us. We would have gone 4th with a win tonight. And instead, you're right in that mix between Liverpool and 15th or whatever it is, where there's about 6 points between them, which has been the case for a long time. But yeah, it's just mad, and it's bad luck, and we could have done a few things better, but you can't do anything about that first goal. And they had one decent shot all game, and have somehow got a 2-2 draw. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That is just ridiculous. No, it is ridiculous, and I think it was a little reminder as well that. I mean, you mentioned it the other day, and I think you're right. But the obvious thing when Ollie came in, it wasn't a mad change. It was just the mood lifted. Everyone was sort of hating Jose Mourinho. Oh, sorry. No, yeah, when Ollie came in from Jose, was that he... No, I get what you thought. No, sorry about that.
the mood lifted, everyone was buzzing again. He started playing Paul Pogba in a better position for him, and it was just an easy fix for that initial 2 months after Jose had been sacked, where we won almost every game. It isn't going to be that easy this time round, because it's not like everyone think, we've spoken about the system, and I get you can change the system, that can help, but it isn't like, it's just this little tweak and then everything will be all right. Or everyone's so depressed under Amorim that a new manager comes in, everyone's just lifting it, it's going to be great. It isn't quite like that. We're still conceding goals, albeit unluckily, and we've still got that sort of element of you can't quite rely on this United team to see a game out. I think there's still a bit of that, and that's going to have to get fixed, not in 2 days. I mean, Amorim only got sacked on Monday. Do you know what I mean? It's going to take a little while longer to iron out those little things. And if you are going to go to 4-3-3, to get everyone used to that again. So, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen in the future, but it does feel like that's the way the club's going to move. So, yeah, it's just a little reminder that it's not going to be like, right, that's it, now everything's great, and we're just going to storm to the top of the table. There's going to be a little bit more work, albeit we were unlucky today. I'll get in some comments and I'll come back to you. Banana, says, anyone see Tim Sherwood slagging off Sesko at full time? I'd rather stick pins in my fucking eyes than watch Tim Sherwood, to be honest with you, and thankfully, because we're doing this, I didn't have to, but that seems about right. Slagging off a player who's just scored a brace. So 2 goals in fucking 40 minutes. Yeah, nice one, bro. 45 minutes, sorry. JC says 3 wins in 13. But let's look for the positives. Invito Veritas says, ever think we used up all our lucky 99 and 08? Big fan of Agent 47. He's been a member of the Academy. 60 months. Grain 4 says, you can see how low on confidence Sesko was until the goals. Unreal how Amorim wasn't able to use him. Watch out for Seskja. I mean, we could see Sesko now kick on. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but we said it during the watch on, didn't we? So he just needs a goal to get going, and he got one. And that second goal was the finish of a guy with confidence. It was like his confidence just got switched on all of a sudden, because it was like opened up his body, hit it first time, a difficult finish as well, I think, and he made it look easy. Now you go back to the one at Ellen Road at the weekend where he doesn't open up his body, he sort of snatches at it. And it's like night and day, innit? So we know there's the quality's there from Sesko. I don't think anyone's ever thought he's a terrible player. He's just lacking confidence and maybe getting used to adapting to the Premier League, which isn't easy when you're coming from the German league. So I'm hoping now he can go on a bit of a run, because if you can have Benjamin Sesko getting you even a goal every other game or thereabouts, plus Bruno's back in the side, you know what I mean? You've got something going on. I want to ask you about Shea Lacey, because that was nearly the perfect cameo.
Yeah.
It was nearly Kiko Makeda levels of an absolute debut or an absolute cameo we'll never forget.
It felt like the moment, didn't it? When you have those sort of go down in history, you see the replay over and over again.
Yeah.
I know beating Burnley isn't winning the league. I know we didn't win the league that day.
No, but I get it.
Setting up a title win.
I'm exaggerating slightly, but you get the point.
But yeah, I mean, it was huge for the title win. But that cut inside across the keeper, and I thought it was in as well. Sometimes when it hits the bar, it's always well above the bar, and it's never going to come down in time. That one, I thought, okay, it's within the bounds of the goal. The keeper's not getting to it. It's not going over. It's in. And then somehow, it obviously just kept rising and hit the bar. But it felt like that was his moment, didn't it?
Yeah.
And we were going to win the game, and I think we would have won the game if we'd have scored that. And he did nothing wrong. I mean, later on he had a shot from out of range, let's say. But that's what you bring on 18-year-olds for, because they might do something that's maybe a little bit unorthodox, because we've tried orthodox for 75 minutes and it's not worked. So you bring on someone with the confidence and the danger and the lack of kind of fear to take a shot from 35 yards. Didn't go in.
No.
And maybe we could have done something better if we'd have laid it off and played it safe, but we played it safe all game and only got 2 goals. So, I don't blame him for that at all. But he looks exciting, doesn't he? He carries the ball well. Players were dropping off him as well. I think Burnley didn't really handle him very well at all, and he almost took advantage of that. Oh, if that had gone in, that'd been brilliant.
It would have been
how good would it feel now?
It would have been like Rooney against Arsenal for Everton or something, wouldn't it? Do you know what I mean? Remember the name and all that. Ross Bianchi, 87, who's been a member of the Academy for 25 months, says, when you've got the live match review at 10, but you've got an interview for the caretaker manager role with Ineos at 11, good luck, Jay. Love that. Charlie Francis says, Dutch manager wins FA Cup, fired Portuguese manager with rigid system, not like Man U traditions, fired Ole, fired Dutch manager, and repeat. So obviously he's going through what's been going on at Manchester United over the last few years. Harsh Bold 2511 says, we need a midfielder, get James Garner or Ruben Neves in.
There was a spell just before their goal where we all commented on Casemiro. Looked like he'd slowed down, and they just got a little bit
like he'd fell off a cliff.
Yeah, they just had a little bit of pressure, and the game just had a little moment of a splutter because United were dominating. There was a little splutter, and Burnley scored.
Yeah,
and there is that. You can't have your players dipping off and dropping. I'm not blaming Casemiro for the goal because the actual specifics of it weren't his fault at all. But there was an element of we're just having a minute here where Burnley look around and they've scored. Yeah. For whatever reason, and no one knows the answer, so I'm not going to try and guess. Teams will look good for 30 minutes and get 0 or 1 goals. The opposition will look good for 5 minutes and get a goal. And I don't know why that is. I don't know why that keeps happening. There's obviously something wrong with the way we're defending, the defenders, the midfield. Something is clearly an issue. But it seems to be different things at different times in different games. It's not always the same thing. And Burnley didn't deserve any points from this game today. They clearly didn't. They had 1 shot on target. But once again, United are walking away going, could have been 4th. You just got to move on and try and win the next one and not lose your head.
The next one we can't draw. It's Brighton, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there's no replays anymore. So you're either going to win or lose, obviously. And we saw what happened against Fulham at Old Trafford last season in the FA Cup. We need a win there. We need a cup opportunity even if you get to the semi, you don't win it, whatever. You need that bit of hope of silverware just to get a bit of positivity going around the place, because to be sort of sat in 7th and then be out of the cup if we lose to Brighton and then gone out of the cup in the first hurdle in both competitions will be so deflating. Yeah. And I know it's difficult. You're going to have a new manager coming in. I don't know what's going to happen with Darren Fletcher. I think he's probably going to be in charge for the Brighton game. Don't think it's confirmed, but we'll see. Even if a new manager would say coming in Friday, what's he going to be able to do in 2 days? You know what I mean? He might even just say, Fletcher, you do this one, and then we'll take over, whatever. So, but you need that win, don't you? I mean, it's like today. In terms of the conversation, next manager, I don't know if Darren Fletcher's hat's in the ring. It just doesn't show anything, does it? It's not like it's.
No.
That's not forcing any issue here. It's just he's coming in, he's doing kind of what you thought he'd do, giving some youngsters a chance, going to a little bit of a different system, and it was just like. Yeah, kind of what I expected from the manager, to be honest with you. There was nothing shocking there, was there? Or where he went off the deep end and was like, right, I'm going to start Lacey and my son and, do something a bit wow. It was just like, I'm going to sort of play the plays that you expected to play. Just quickly on Bruno before we wrap up.
Yeah.
A couple of people in the chat mentioned him coming off. It was obviously managed minutes, wasn't it? I think the manager spoke about that. I think that's the reason behind that. And you get it, don't you? Because he's a player you need to look after. I know he's never injured, but he's coming back from an injury. We need Bruno Fernandes. And he reminded everyone tonight why we needed him. And I think you saw a bit of that Ellen Road, reminded of why we miss him. Yeah. And it's like you saw those passes and that one for Sesko goal in particular was just phenomenal.
Yeah, he is phenomenal, and he's always phenomenal. And you miss him every time he doesn't play, and we forget and we go, maybe we'll be better if we're not. And maybe one day you can replace him with someone who does do that job better, deep line. I'm not saying there's no one that's better than Bruno as a number 6.
Yeah.
But when he's playing in his position and in the current squad we certainly don't have anyone better than him. We don't have anyone better than him as a number 6. We don't have anyone better than him as a number 8 or as a number 10. So any number of games he can play, he should, like you said, clearly manage minutes, and we need him for that Brighton game because, as you mentioned before, I think that'll be 5 games without a win if we don't win that one. Certainly 4 games without a win, and like you said, it's either win or lose. So if we don't win, it's over. And we can't have this season be over already.
I know, it would feel like a bit of a slog, because even if you're going for the Europa, it doesn't feel great, does it? You want to be in the mix. I know we're still in the mix for the Champions League spots, but you want to be in the mix for that, and you want a chance of silverware as well. I'm going to wrap it up there. There's a pinned comment in the chat for some of the merch. A couple of asking about Joseph's top merch from the store there, Stretford Paddock store.
Feel the quality on that.
The quality, bro. Come on, mate.
Thick as you like.
No, that's as quality as Shea Lacey's finishing. Sort of. That's not.
Maybe better example.
Was his finishing quality if he didn't score?
No.
As quality as Benjamin Sesko's finishing for those 2 goals.
Perfect.
Right, okay, that'll do us. We're going to be hearing from Andy Tate. We're going to be hearing from Stephen Howson as well. So make sure you're hitting like, share and subscribe. That's been Joe. Go and check him out on the Sloppy Joe's podcast. I'm Jay Moy. This has been a review. Manchester United drawing at Burnley. It's not a win, is it? But at least it's not a loss. Thanks for watching.